we go. All right. Toughest part about the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern is his mask, because it's kind of a complicated thing, but it's also one of the cooler Green Lantern masks, too. I need an eraser. It's another one where the pencils are going to be really loose because I'm going to be drawing more with the ink than anything else. Oops, I need to bring up a little bit of reference here quick. I just want to make sure I get his hair right. That's probably not the one I'm looking for. Not bad. It'll work. Quick pencil shade in there. and start picking him up.
Lucy, you gone?
It's a little too quiet over here, so.
Does justify some of its cheesy reputation. Too bad it only happens in the last few minutes. Despite not quite living up to its so bad it's good reputation, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman still had an impact on popular culture, inspiring several parodies, and a remake in 1993, which, surprise, surprise, is actually a pretty decent remake that manages to be better than the original. As movie fans might find some stuff to enjoy here, but I really wish this movie had been as awesome as its poster. But at least this movie teaches people a valuable lesson, is that if you want your wife's money, make sure you kill her before she turns into a radioactive giant. So that's all for now. Till next time.
Smirk on him.
Now, I'll tell you about Hero Ward. Today's movie is a special request from Patreon supporter Christopher McLeod, who asked me to review Virus. Good choice, Chris, because now that 2020 is almost over, who doesn't want to keep hearing the word virus? Virus is a 1999 sci-fi horror movie based off a Dark Horse comic book series of the same name written by Chuck Barr, a screenwriter known for movies like Darkman, Hard Target, and Red Planet. He was also the feature-length directorial debut of John Bruno, a special effects expert who's worked on everything from The Abyss, Terminator 2, Batman Returns, Titanic, Avatar, and many others. Now, I've done a few movies directed by effects guys on this show before, but this one's a little different. While most movies directed by effects artists are Boy, it's been a while since I did a Godzilla movie, hasn't it? I guess when there isn't a ninja at my window threatening to cut my nuts off, it kind of takes away some of the urgency. Anyway, I figured I better do one before the end of the year, so where was I? Holy crap. Do you last Godzilla movie of this particular series. Hey, I made it to the end of one of them, right? Well, it's been a long time coming, but we finally made it to the end of the Heisei Godzilla series that started with Godzilla 1985 and successfully brought Godzilla back to his destructive roots after several goofy movies in the 70s. Rather than simply halting production for a few years like they did with the original Godzilla series, Toho instead made the then controversial move of actually killing Godzilla off. I mean, yeah, okay, sure, Godzilla died at the end of the first movie, but this was the first time Godzilla died after being built up over a series of several films. Younger people may not remember it, but this was kind of a big deal at the time. I can actually remember the news talking about it when I was a kid. Other than Godzilla 1985, none of the Heisei films were released in North America yet.
Godzilla's final fight will be a memorable one, maybe.
Then again, it was the 90s, and people like to talk about famous pop culture icons dying. Anybody remember the death of Superman? That was a pretty big deal, too. So in 1995, Toho decided to give Godzilla his send-off with Godzilla vs. Destroyer, or Godzilla vs. Destroy. Oh yeah, that's another thing. When I first heard about this movie, people referred to it as Godzilla vs. Destroyer in North America, since that's basically the translation of the Japanese title. But since it's gotten officially released here, it's been called Godzilla vs. Destroy. Even though everyone in the English dub says Destroyer. Destroyer. Destroyer? Get the Destroyer to fight Godzilla? Destroyer is mutated. No, I guess it's like the whole Ghidra Ghidorah debate. Either way, I'm sure somebody in the comments will say I'm not pronouncing it right. As if to really drive home that this is the last film in the Heisei series, the movie opens with Ichibusa discovering that Godzilla's island is sank into the ocean and both Godzilla and his son are nowhere to be found. Damn, that was quick. I thought they'd at least wait until the end to kill him. Just kidding, Godzilla's alive, though he does seem to be suffering from a nuclear case of heartburn. Oh my god, he's a monster! Look, dude, you're in a Godzilla movie. What'd you expect? I think the real reason they're surprised is because Godzilla's attacking Hong Kong this time. Oh, hey, why should Tokyo always be the place that gets destroyed? Now that he's in Hong Kong, I wonder if Godzilla will run into Mighty Peking Man. Hell, I'd even take a crossover with this guy from Inframan. Hopefully the members of G-Force can figure out what the hell's going on with Godzilla. Oh yeah? Well, if you're American, how come your lips don't match your dialogue? So if you're wondering why Godzilla looks like he swallowed a radioactive ghost pepper, turns out his heart is literally melting down like a nuclear reactor because of the energy he absorbed from the explosion that destroyed his island. I know Godzilla started as a metaphor for nuclear weapons. I guess they could also make him a metaphor for
Move the camera over a little bit here so you can see what's going on with the inking part of
theory
things.
about Godzilla was put forth by college student Kenichi Yamane, who's the grandson of Dr. Yamane from the first Godzilla. Oh yeah, this does exist in the same continuity as the original Godzilla, doesn't it? Kind of forgot about that once Raymond Burr left after his check cleared. Ken offers to work with G-Force, but enough of that, we got to learn about the wonders of micro-oxygen.
We can construct smaller and lighter oxygen tanks for divers. And if we feed micro-oxygen to fish, they'll grow much bigger than normally fed fish. So therefore, micro-oxygen could solve our food problem.
No, making fish bigger isn't going to solve world hunger. You're just going to make more monsters. Of course, micro-oxygen also has some other uses.
Any weapon made this way would be extremely effective. However, I don't think anybody in this country would want to risk provoking a global war.
Yeah, I mean, why would any government want a weapon that could turn them into a global superpower when they can just use it to make fish bigger? Seriously, no one thought this could be used as a weapon? That's like the people who invented drones going, no, we're just going to use them to deliver packages, we swear. By the way,
Slide that back
sounds
around
so much
here.
like the oxygen destroyer that killed the original Godzilla. There's a reason for that.
Alright, so let's get back to that. Ooh.
You know, in hindsight, it might have been a good idea to keep an oxygen destroyer around to take care of your freaking giant monster problem. But you just like having to completely rebuild Tokyo.
Working on ear and pencil, but it's a little too loose.
Standards when it comes to their military. Several characters don't want micro-oxygen to be used as a weapon. Oh, but a giant robot dinosaur made with future technology? Yeah, that's cool. We can totally build one of those. Turns out they might not need one.
There's the hair a little bit more too.
Critical.
There we go.
He will explain.
Okay, so that takes care of your Godzilla problem. What's the downside?
According to my calculations, the planet's atmosphere will heat up and then explode, vaporizing everything we know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that does sound pretty bad. So, yeah, if they don't find a way to stop Godzilla from melting down, it will cause an explosion that'll destroy the world. And I could be mistaken, but I think this is also how Akira started. Fortunately, Ken has an idea. Hey, Pete, you not hear the part about the world getting destroyed if it blows up? Sorry, but your giant monster boyfriend has to die. They plan on using the oxygen destroyer to kill Godzilla, but since that doesn't exist anymore, they'll have to use the micro-oxygen technology that was totally just going to be used to make giant sushi before this. However, not everyone's on board with this idea.
Even if we make one. Are you sure it'll be properly used?
But Auntie, this time the Earth is in danger.
But still, I don't like it, Ken. Give it to me.
Okay, look, you don't want the oxygen destroyer used for destructive purposes, right? What's going to happen if they don't
Well, my
use it on
pens are
Godzilla?
exploding, aren't they?
The atmosphere will heat up and then explode, vaporizing everything we know.
That sounds pretty destructive. Speaking of which, here's another connection to the original movie. Some construction workers building a tunnel on the site where the original Godzilla was killed discovered the soil being contaminated by the oxygen destroyer, but I'm sure there won't be any side effects.
Can't use that.
Bad news, fellas, the soil has a heartbeat. And if this movie had a dirt kaiju, that wouldn't be the weirdest monster Japan
Yes,
ever saw.
ooh, this one's
Okay,
drying
that's
out
not
on me
quite
there.
what's going on, but it's discovered that not only did the
Yeah,
oxygen
there we go.
destroyer awaken and mutate some prehistoric organisms that were in the soil, but these guys didn't notice them escape. Now they could be anywhere. Why is that guy humming, singing in the rain? You gonna try and rape those ghosts? Alright, all joking aside, since Godzilla was a prehistoric creature awoken and mutated by nuclear weapons,
I heard my
making
bed,
it
and I was on my
a monster
face.
awoken and mutated by the
Take it
weapons
water.
kill him is actually a clever way to end the series by going back to the original film. Now that it's escaped, time to find
There you
out
go.
just what the hell we're dealing with here.
Zoom in.
Well, there's your explanation. Clearly a monster from the Super Nintendo game time is responsible. You know, I can joke all I want, but Japan's technology for analyzing VHS tapes in the 90s was really advanced.
Maybe you were afraid of? Micro-oxygen is already being unleashed.
Okay, I know you want us to take this seriously, but it is really hard to make micro-oxygen sound threatening. I got even more bad news. Godzilla's still melting down and turning the ocean into a giant hot tub.
It's quite obvious he's heading this way.
Yes, but why is he heading this way?
Wondering why Godzilla's headed towards Japan? Meanwhile, Michi decides to
This
Come on, finish stick to these movies. You gotta give her something here. Jesus, now what's going on?
Swap
God, I knew it was a
camera
bad idea to
over
let H.R.
this
Gordon
way.
Red Rock do it. You know, here's another thing I like about this movie. Having Godzilla's enemies start out as
Why are you looking at that?
smaller monsters is a good way to add some variety by having them interact with humans first before taking it out with Godzilla. Not to mention this whole sequence with special forces looking for him in a building plays out more like a horror movie than a typical Godzilla film. Oh, and judging by their guns, I think this part may have been inspired by aliens. Good lord, it's like they're getting attacked by Godzilla's crab lice. Although I think Godzilla 1985 might have already had that. So here's our first good look at Destroyer, or whatever. And I do like that they tried to break away from the typical guy in a suit design and went for a weirder looking monster, which is something the series hadn't really tried since Godzilla vs. Violent. I know I joked about H.R. Giger earlier, but this really does look like a Japanese version of something you think up.
You must stop the shooter.
Hey, fuck you, pal. These things are dangerous, and we need an action sequence here. You know, even though this is a Godzilla film, I actually wouldn't mind a whole movie about these things. In order to make sure this part is really like a horror movie, this woman's car even refuses to start. And I know I already referenced aliens, but because it's Japan, instead of acid, these things probably flew you to rainbows that melt people's faces or some shit. Meanwhile, I think Godzilla's busy trying to find a Tums factory to cool his tummy. Because they don't have an oxygen destroyer ready, the military decides to send in a new weapon called the Super X3, or Super Triple X, I guess. You know what? This thing kind of reminds me of the plane from Gunhead. Alright, to be fair, this movie is way better than that one. Hey look, the pilot from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 is Biollante, so that's a little confusing. Anyway, the plan is to use the Super X3 to try and freeze Godzilla to try and neutralize the meltdown. And once again, considering they're so against the oxygen destroyer being used as a weapon, Japan sure does love making awesome weapons. Now, if you remember the previous movies, the first Super X was an extremely effective weapon that really killed Godzilla, and only a freak accident with a nuclear missile brought him back. The second Super X was supposedly an improvement on the first one, even though it wasn't nearly as effective and just seemed to piss Godzilla off. Super X3 is supposed to be yet another improvement, which means it'll probably just explode as soon as Godzilla looks at it. Alright, let's see what the Super X3 can do. Holy crap, it worked! They made an improvement that's actually an improvement.
It stays underwater. Otherwise, we're in trouble.
I mean, you could say that about pretty much any Godzilla movie. G-Force also finds out that freezing could be used on the Destroyer monsters, so I guess this weakness explains why giant monsters don't attack Canada more. Oh, hey, Miki, I forgot you were in this movie. What were you doing again? Well, so far the movie's been fine without him. Don't worry about it, Miki. Eventually she does find him, though. Hey, what do you know? He's actually starting to look like his dad. I guess he got over his cutesy phase once radioactive puberty hit. We also learned Godzilla is trying to find Junior, who apparently ran away from home after it exploded. Well, I can't say I blame him, as we all know Godzilla can be a pretty abusive father, especially after he gets a few thousand bottles of bourbon in him. There's a problem, though. Despite getting frozen earlier, Godzilla's still going to explode. But on the bright side, this could lead to a cool Japanese post-apocalyptic movie.
So what do I have? A meltdown.
Soap opera organ is how you know things are really getting serious. Meanwhile, the military prepares to take on the Destroyer monsters. And once again, I totally understand Japan not wanting the oxygen destroyer to be used as a weapon. I mean, just look at how much Japan hates weapons. There is no place for destructive weapons in this country, goddammit.
ULT laser guns fire now.
I know I already mentioned wanting a whole movie about the small Destroyer monsters. This part looks like it could also be a pretty fun video game, too. Shame there wasn't an N64 tie-in to go with the movie. I will admit, though, this does contain one of the biggest special effects fails of the entire Heisei series. Jeez, it looks like a game of kaiju electric football. Unfortunately for the military, Destroyer's got a few more tricks up his sleeve.
This is incredible. The creatures seem to have combined to form one big giant monster.
Oh, yeah, that's right. In Japan, that shit ain't just for robots. Destroy is like some weird, twisted nightmare from Tron. Not only that, but I think it might be a transformer, too. This is another thing I like about Destroy. It is smaller creatures, giving the giant
Getting some of the fingerprints off of that side there.
It also drives home just how much they're ready. It's kind of similar to what Solo did with Hedera, except, Destroy doesn't get his own acid rock theme song.
It can destroy everything. Its power is not oxygen. Destroyer. Destroyer.
Hey, it's Destroy Did you guys see the title screen?
Godzilla and Destroyer.
Alright, fine, it's Destroyer. And Godzilla, apparently. Now, the G-Force Destroyer was created from the Oxygen Destroyer. That gives them an idea of how to deal with Godzilla's meltdown.
And only that monster can stop the meltdown. I'm telling you now, it's the only way to.
Yeah, having Godzilla and Destroy a fight is the only way to save the world. Or possibly completely destroy it. It could go either way.
Just how we can find each other.
Yeah, don't worry. It's a kaiju movie. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen regardless. That's like asking how are we going to get these porn actors to fuck each other. They plan to use Junior to lure Godzilla to destroy it. Not everyone's on board with this plan.
Maybe the power of the default, whatever you do, stopping the meltdown is our priority.
Why does Miki look like she's pregnant with Godzilla Jr.'s kid and is trying to figure out the best way to tell everybody about it? In any case, we better get Junior to Tokyo quick. Destroy is so powerful he can cause buildings to explode just by flying over them. And no need to worry, Miki. Junior looks almost the same as his dad. Maybe this is tough. Well, Junior turned out to be a real dud. God, no wonder your dad beat you. Alright, Junior does put up more of a fight than that. I mean, come on, he may not be his dad, but he's a hell of a lot tougher than Minya. Unfortunately, he's still no match for Destroyer no matter what form he takes. I would say he looks like a scary Japanese monster crab, but Japan already has those. Oh well, at least they got to do this gag again. And if anyone finds out just how badass Destroyer is.
It's
Damn,
coming
you see that?
together.
I think Destroyer just tried to rip Junior's heart out. Other kaiju have special moves. Destroyer's the first one to have fatalities. Get over here!
Destroyer is sucking energy from Junior. He's inserting micro-oxygen bombs.
I think Junior's gonna need some oxygen now that he has a gaping hole in one of his lungs. I might have to give him more credit though. Junior's pretty tough considering you should be able to see the actor inside the suit after that chest. Don't worry, son, I'm coming to rescue you. First though, I gotta find some Pepto-Bismol. It feels like I'm about to shit fire out of my ass. Literally. Now, Destroyer's had several different forms so far. Now that Godzilla's made it to Tokyo, that means we get to see his final boss monster form. Yeah, it's about time we got a kaiju version of the demon from Fantasia. It's been pointed out that Destroyer's final form has a resemblance to the devil. Considering he respawned from the weapon that killed the original Godzilla and is in many ways another allegory for the harmful potential of weapons of mass destruction, I guess it's only fitting that Godzilla's last foe of this series is a kaiju version of the Antichrist. Allegory or not, Destroyer's pretty badass, even if it does kind of look like he has an anus on his chest. No shit. With Godzilla still melting down, G-Force decides to send out the Super X3 to freeze him at just the right moment to prevent him from going critical.
Alright, let's go freeze that overgrown lizard. This is gonna make my day.
Spoken with all the excitement of somebody who just realized it's his turn to wash the dishes. Instead of using the Super X3 on Godzilla, they might need to help him out. Not only does Destroyer manage to take out Godzilla, but he also nearly kills Junior. Why couldn't a monster have done that to Minion? Or at least to Kenny? I've said it before and I'll say it again. No one abuses Godzilla's kids but him. Destroyer's gonna pay for this. Okay, maybe not. Just give him a few years. He'll be back. Damn, I think Destroy is the first monster since Biollante to actually make Godzilla look small. And he's also one of the only ones to make him look like a bitch. To make matters even worse, Godzilla's still got a fever and the only prescription is the total destruction of Earth. As you would imagine for Godzilla's last movie, this final battle is one of the most brutal of the entire series. There's parts that almost get as gory as a Gamera movie. Look, I know you said having these two fight was the only way to prevent the end of the world somehow, but I think they might end up causing it if they keep going. Better send in the Super X3. And here's the way to subvert your expectations. Godzilla's not the one who kills Destroyer. Instead, the army comes in and blasts him with a bunch of freezing rays until he explodes. Wow, this is one of the only times in a kaiju movie where the Japanese army was actually effective. They also used the freeze weapons on Godzilla, but considering he was going to die anyway, I'm not giving him that one. Believe it or not, the scene where Godzilla finally disintegrates is actually kind of touching, even if it does contain some dated CGI. Out of all the souls I've ever known, his was the most kaiju. Well, Godzilla may be dead, but his legacy lives on. By legacy, I mean his possibly illegitimate son. That's right, Junior is now the new Godzilla. Plot development that will not be followed up on. Despite the controversy surrounding the decision to kill Godzilla off, this proved to be a smart move for Toho, since Godzilla vs. Destroyer went on to become the second highest grossing film in the Heisei series, and many fans also consider it to be one of the best Godzilla films, and for good reason. Because the Heisei series had a tighter continuity than the original with several recurring characters, it was nice that they actually gave it a real ending instead of just suddenly stopping it like what happened with the original Godzilla series. Destroyer, or whatever you want to call him, is also one of Godzilla's most memorable foes. And I'm actually glad he hasn't made another appearance, since I think using him again would cheapen his impact. Of course, Godzilla didn't stay dead for long, since Toho rebooted the series again with Godzilla 2000 just 4 years later, which marked the beginning of the Millennium Godzilla series. Just goes to show you can't keep a good monster like Godzilla down for long. So there you go, my last Godzilla video of this particular series. And all of them I'm still only about halfway through. Well, that's all for now. Till next time.
Alright, so let's go ahead and finish filling in blanks. And we're going to call this one done here. So, the
Well, there may not have been many superhero movies released in 2020. That doesn't mean I can't make a video on another foreign-made superhero knockoff. I've already done a whole bunch of Turkish superhero movies on this show, but it's important to remember that there's a ton of other countries that flouted international copyright laws. So for this episode, we're going back to Korea. And if anyone needs a refresher on the last Korean knockoff I did, that was from a Wonder Woman knockoff, by the way, so buckle up. Okay, I already did Korean Wonder Woman, so let's keep things going with Korean Batman. This is a 1979 animated movie whose title roughly translates to Black Star and Golden Bat, and it's actually based more closely on a Japanese character from the 1930s called Golden Bat, who's considered by some to be the world's first true superhero. But the reason it's usually referred to as Korean Batman is because Golden Bat looks like this, while the hero in this movie looks like, well, so. So here we have a Korean ripoff of a popular Japanese superhero trying to trick people by pretending it's actually a ripoff of a popular American superhero. Pretty clever. Alright, maybe it's not as wacky as having Captain America team up with El Santo to take down mob boss Spider-Man. But hey, not every country can be Turkey. Anyway, does Batman's Korean counterpart also have a catchy theme song? I think they switched the music to the NES game tie-in by mistake. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Batman? Well, maybe the news can tell us what's going on here.
Nos comunican del Centro de Ciencias Aeroespaciales que hoy mismo se ha presentado el proyecto del DN.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the best copy I could find of this movie is dubbed in Spanish, not Korean. Whatever, if I had a copy of that Mexican Batwoman movie dubbed in Korean, I'd still make a video on it. The important thing is, it's still in a language where I won't be able to tell what the hell is going on. Although just like with a lot of these movies, I get the feeling that even if it was in English, I'd still be pretty lost. Jesus, this movie can't even get the color of Batman's phone right. I'm assuming this is our villain, Black Star, but because they're mostly keeping him off screen, I'm tempted to call him Korean Dr. Claw.
Esta noche iría a la una a apoderarme de los planos del Rocket PDM.
Bad news, kids. The only cartoons on now are Korean Batman. Yeah, I'm scared too. Oh, and if anyone was wondering if this had any annoying kids in it. Well, I did good movies for the last couple episodes. If it was overdue for some pain. This kid is such a brat. His hair is furiously Bart Simpson in front of his mother. Speaking of the Simpsons, have I seen this mafioso guy before?
My friends, tonight we unveil my most diabolical creation, swank. 10 times more addictive than marijuana to human misery.
Yeah, I wish I was watching The Simpsons. I'll take Radioactive Man over this guy any day. Besides the costume, this Batman is different from the American version in a few other ways.
Alright.
Oh yeah, Batman also laughs like he's a Joker. while we're talking about mustaches, I think this guy might be Korean Hitler. Oh well, at least he still looks better than his wife. I'm just guessing here, but I think this may have been animated by the same people who made Korean Tron. Alright, enough of these two. Are we gonna see any other Batman characters in this movie? Man, Korean Catwoman is really different. Yeah, I can joke all I want, but the real explanation is the cat can talk. And that's not even the stupidest thing in this scene. Oh, and if anyone thought this was going to be a superhero movie, guess again, because we're now following this group of kids around. Oh, well, the South Park Christmas critters are here. Maybe we'll do something funny like sacrifices. Alright, so far the villains made a phone call, Batman beat up some guys, and a kid made some funny faces at his cat. Alright, even though it's not in English, I think I might be able to follow this. Boy, that didn't last long. That looks like the fat kid's okay, but now they're being watched by the Cheshire Golden Bat. Instead of going back to the superhero stuff,
All right.
now visit Korean Millhouse.
So let's go ahead and I'm going to call this one done.
Cancer or something. I thought this was supposed to be a bad
All
guy.
right.
Sorta. Not really. How sick is this kid anyway? I think that's subtitle.
So now let's
Not worry though, your
quick
friends are
to
gonna cheer you up. Oh, Jesus Christ, kid, stop it. You trying to make your friend die sooner? Besides, you might want to check Avery's nightmare for you. The kid's also put on a little concert. Wow, K-pop really come a long way since the 70s, hasn't it? Wow, thanks for coming to visit me. Everything's coming up Korean Millhouse. Oops, looks like I spoke too soon. Sorry, kid, because of the chemotherapy, you're now Korean Charlie Brown. Also, your mom's dead. God damn, when did this turn to the grave of the
All
Bible?
right. And there it is.
Superhero movie?
Finished head sketch.
This movie is only an hour long and we're now about half.
So thank you everybody for watching.
Batman now, right? Nope, it's still about these fucking kids.